Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you for tuning in to this Cook with Snap video. If you haven't heard of Snap before, we are a sport nutrition club at Brescia. We share evidence-based content on our Instagram, on our blog, and we do seminars right now over Zoom with different groups and teams on campus. So if you like this content, reach out, check us out. We'd be super happy to work with you. So you'll be cooking along with me over the course of about a day and a half. We'll be making 4 different recipes: a tofu scramble, a bean casserole, sweet potato brownies, and some delicious nachos. So stay tuned, here we go. First up, groceries, $28 got me some canned beans, diced tomatoes, salsa, frozen corn, sweet potatoes, corn tortillas, cilantro, tofu, cheese, and yogurt. And then I already had green pepper, red cabbage, peanut butter, and then just my pantry items, including chocolate chips and oats. First up is going to be a tofu scramble. So press your tofu to get the water out, just crumble it up. I used a fork, and then dice an onion. I also added some mushrooms. You could add zucchini, tomatoes, whatever vegetable you want. Large pan, some oil, heat it over medium heat. Add in your veggies, saute until they get nice and translucent, and then you're gonna toss in your scrambled tofu. Let that sizzle away. Turn up the heat here if you wanna get those little crispy bits of tofu. And then we're gonna toss in some spices. I use salt, pepper, paprika, cumin, chili powder, and some turmeric. And you're gonna mix that all up. Cook it down a bit. This took maybe total 10 minutes. So lunch today is going to be tofu scramble, and then I've got some sweet potato skins. When I cube my sweet potatoes, I just cut off the skins, and then I can cut these into matchsticks. And then I'll add some olive oil, salt and pepper, spices, lay them out on a tray, and cook them for 30 to 40 minutes, depending how small you cut them. And I just put them in my toaster oven. Super quick, super easy, and those sweet potato fries are gonna be part of lunch. So here it is, a whole wheat wrap. You could also do corn tortilla, and there's that tofu scramble underneath there. Got some avocado, red cabbage, cilantro, a bit of cheese, and I'm gonna add some salsa after, and we're just gonna pop that in the toaster oven to get nice and melty and warm. So here it is toasted with the salsa. I'm gonna roll it up. So first full meal of video, we've got our beautiful wrap, the sweet potato fries, and just a little bit of mayo to dip. Recipe number 2 is going to be a super versatile black bean casserole. So you're gonna chop up all your veggies. I'm using green pepper, cilantro, sweet potato, which I then steamed in the microwave for about 12 minutes to get it nice and soft. Then I rinsed my 2 cans of black beans. Got to get rid of those oleosaccharides, which are going to contribute to that extra gas that you get after you eat a lot of beans. So rinse those, and then assembling the casserole, super, super easy. I got my huge casserole dish. I'm going to dump in all of my ingredients. Here we've got the beans. We've got the tofu scramble. I saved about half of the recipe that we made earlier. Put it in here for some extra protein, some extra flavor. And then all my veggies, my cilantro, green pepper, sweet potato, and I added some frozen corn. Add whatever you want here. Mix it all up in the casserole dish. I poured on about half a jar of salsa. You can use more, you can use less, you can use a different sauce. Just a note here, you might have noticed I didn't use the can of diced tomatoes because I didn't want my casserole to be soggy. So I think if you do want to have that kind of extra tomatoey taste, I would use maybe half the can, and then I would add in some instant rice or something to soak up that liquid into my casserole, maybe like half cooked, or even cooked all the way, it'll still soak up some extra liquid. Just a tip. Mix it up, and then the cherry on top here is of course grated cheese, so use as much as you want. More is always better. Lay it on there all nice and evenly, and she goes in an oven, 350 degrees, 30 to 40 minutes, whatever gets your veggies nice and soft and your cheese nice and crispy. Plated it up with some salsa, some plain yogurt, red cabbage, and cilantro, And this was a delicious meal. And, make sure to share your food, eat with your friends and family. Recipe number 3 is going to be sweet potato brownies. So we've got half of the steamed sweet potato from earlier, some oat flour, just mixed it up in a magic bullet. Sweetener, you can use maple syrup, honey, brown sugar, whatever you got. Nut butter, again, use whatever you got. The eggs, the choco chips, cocoa powder, baking powder, vanilla, and salt. Mix it all up, and there's your brownies. They're a little chunky, but they're good, and you top them with extra chocolate chips. This is a must. Make sure to save some of your chocolate chips to top them, and oven on 300, pop them in there for 30 minutes, and I served them with some ice cream. That was delicious. Would highly recommend, but they're good on their own as well. Our 4th and final recipe of the video is going to be nachos topped with our black bean casserole. So I used corn tortillas. This bag cost me $2 and it has lasted me over a year, so would highly recommend. I just thawed 4 of them in my toaster oven so that I could chop them up into quarters, and then I tossed those quarters with some salt, pepper, chili powder, and olive oil. Mix that around, get it nice and evenly coated, and then I spread them out on my little baby tray that just pops in my handy dandy little toaster oven. For around 15 minutes, I flipped them halfway and they got nice and crispy and delicious. And then our topping is going to be that leftover black bean casserole, so I popped it in a little pan over some medium heat to reheat it, get the cheese nice and melty again, and kind of mash up my beans a bit so that they go nicely on top of my chips. And quick little storage hack here, your fresh greens, keep them in a damp towel in the crisper drawer of your fridge. They'll stay nice and fresh, nice and crisp, and they won't go run. So now my chips are ready in the toaster oven. They're looking nice and crispy, a little bit brown. They're gonna be perfect nachos. And so this is the key with this recipe. You have to make sure that every single chip has some of the bean casserole, some cheese, and some salsa. So it takes a little bit of extra time, but if you distribute those toppings evenly, it'll pay off when you're eating your nachos. So here we go. The nachos are ready to go in the toaster oven. We've got our black bean casserole, our cheese, and our salsa. So I'm just gonna put that back in my handy dandy toaster oven, give her maybe 10 minutes to get nice and melty, nice and crispy, and then we'll be putting some toppings on them and they'll be ready to eat. So here they are, looking melty and delicious. So I am going to top my nachos with red cabbage and cilantro, as per usual, my favorite, and some extra salsa and a bit of plain yogurt. And guys, when I tell you these were delicious, these were probably some of the best nachos I've ever made. So I would highly recommend trying these out. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you for hanging out. I hope you learned something new. I hope you learned some new recipes. If you do want to try these recipes out, the full list of ingredients and instructions are going to be on our blog, on our website, snaprussia.com. So head on over there, grab those recipes, try them out. And if you do try them out, please tag us on Instagram. Show us what you've done with these recipes, what your personal spin on them has been. Show us how you found you're healthy. Show us what's good for you. So thank you, and happy Nutrition Month from all of Snap, and have a great day.